Alright, welcome to round 8 of the FRL Division 1 Championship. Here we are in Hungary getting ready for the main event here for the race. So Max is going to be starting at the front with Yeti as a reserve, joining him on the front row. And honestly, we have quite a spread of the field, including the likes of R. Wolfer and Ghostly stuck at the back, as well as Jim, who joined a bit late. I think this race is going to pan out to be very interesting. Looking at the tire strategy, we have a wide variety. A majority of them are medium runners, which is honestly a pretty great tire to start on. But we have a few hard runners in Pink, Zip, Dot, and Wolfer. The remainder will be on the soft Sebi. Not Pop, Rogue, and Gin and Tonic are all planning a soft tire run at the start, which could actually pan out in their favor, as I think an early safety car is very possible. Joining me in the commentary box is going to be Fred.
I'll send you the pictures for the standings if you want.
Perfect. So, actually, speaking of those standings, Max is currently leading the championship by a pretty comfortable margin. Envy, just a point off of Wolfer, is currently second. Max with 113 points, Wolfer with 89. So, actually, if Max DNFs and Wolfer wins somehow, then Wolfer would be ahead. But that's the size of the gap there. But all it takes is one incident like that, and there you go. Wolfer's back in contention. As I said before, Envy is just a point off with 88 points. Meanwhile, Henny is in fourth in the standings with 69 points. Nice. And Pink right behind with 68. Honestly, the guys are looking close, but this race is going to look even closer as the 5 red lights are coming on here in Hungary. And it's a lights out, and away we go. Max gets a decent start, but I think Yeti's is a bit better. But we have an Avatari coming up fast. It's going to be really close going into turn 1, but I think Max has done enough to hold the lead going into turn 1. But Kermit's going to send it on the inside, and we have a lot of cars going wide here.
Can we take the pole? Can we take the P1 right there, side by side in turn 3?
Oh, this is going to be close. Kermit is going to keep close enough to get alongside. Oh, but Kermit and Max collide. That's a spin. Sugi's already out of the race. Sebi gets a 5-second penalty for a severe collision. Kermit rejoins in a pretty dangerous spot. Yep, full safety car. Oh, that's unfortunate for Sugi. He didn't last long at all. He didn't even make it past turn 2, it looked like. That's unfortunate. He is already out.
A lot of drivers don't have front wing. Pops don't have front wing. Jean don't have front. No wait, Jean don't have front wing.
We have. Yep, Geo does not have a front wing. Wolfer appears to be intact. Geo is not. Ghostly is certainly not. Kermit, a little less certain, but honestly, after hitting the wall, he may have some kind of damage. I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I think Jim might have damage as well. It's a little hard to tell. Yep, he's missing his front wing entirely. He's going to have to make his way into the pits as well. And that's unfortunate because he was just on the soft tires, and now he's going to have to basically go back on the same strategy that everybody else is on. And after all that work to try and move up in the field, he's going to be right back to square one.
Well, you talked about Wolfer if Max DNF and Wolfer be P1, he could take assume the leader of the championship. Well, Wolfer now is P7 after everyone bought the chaos back on the back of the pack. It's not too far for the P1 now. And unfortunately for the top 4, just Max is still alive. And the Yeti and Seb and just Yeti and Seb, the 2 and the P3 and the Poly is on the last positions now. I don't know what happened because I just saw a car across the track and everyone was touching each other. So
yeah, it was absolute chaos what happened there. It was honestly hard to say what happened, but Max and Kermit did have a bit of a coming together. Honestly, I would almost call it a racing incident, but I think Max could and should have left a little bit more space for Kermit because he was certainly alongside enough. Kermit didn't really have a whole lot of room going into that corner. But yeah, that was a little close. And just a bit of information, and it's confirmed Jim does have floor damage, so that's going to be hurting him for the remainder of the race. gonna be a bit of
Gene
a
says
safety
he
car
has
comes
floor
in.
damage.
Go ahead. Yep.
Gene said he had floor damage, and Gio said he have someone touch his rear, and he spun.
Oh, rear wing damage is honestly really rough because that means oversteer is much easier, and that's gonna hurt him a whole lot. Jim's floor damage is gonna hurt him a whole lot through the corners, and well, this is Hungary. It's mostly corners, so he's gonna have a very rough time of it making his way through.
Sabi who was spawned. I think Sabi he forced a little more because he was fighting against Yeti, and I think he spun, and everyone behind him was very close because lap one, turn three. So everyone could be very close, and they couldn't avoid. Hmm,
Actually,
maybe this.
Aston Martin is in a very good spot at the moment, second and fourth at the moment. And Taylor Boss has been showing incredible pace around here, more than his own teammate, who is certainly no slouch himself. I think a 1-2 might even be on the cards for these two drivers, depending on how things play out, or at the very least, both of them on the podium. It really all depends, but at the moment, these two Emerald cars are up here towards the front, and I think their plan is to keep it that way. But if Pink wants to get up there with his teammate, he first needs to get through Envy, and that is no easy feat. The championship leader has been pretty good, but actually has seemed to have struggled around here in qualifying because he only started 7th. He's up to 3rd now, which really helped out for him. But we're going to be getting underway. Safety car is going to be coming in this lap. Max is going to be leading them off, and this is going to be close. But one person will have an advantage, it's not Pop, and I think he may actually have an opportunity to get past Pink, depending on how this restart goes. Max will have the pit limiter for a little while, not the pit limiter, but rather the safety car limiter. But he's going to be released now, that's the line, so he's going to be able to get underway now. Can he make a getaway on the cars behind? He made a little bit, and I think it will be enough to allow him to keep position. But as for the others, I'm not so certain. Taylor is too far behind to make a move. Yep, the gap is too wide between a lot, but not for Don. He's going to sit it on the inside of Ando. Can he make the move to take a hold of 9th place? Yes, he does. He manages to muscle his way past Ando, and now he's up into 9th place.
Pop spun.
Oh, that is not good for not Pop. He's well out of the way though. But
What?
what just happened there?
What? What happened?
Did not Pop try to rejoin the track?
What?
I wasn't able to catch it. I tried to catch it, but I couldn't. I think not Pop may have tried to rejoin the track right in front of Yeti and caused him to DNF.
And Endo spun one turn late. What?
Oh, that's a strange one. Meanwhile, I think Ghostly managed to get ahead of DK. That's unfortunate for Yeti. I have a feeling not Pop just came on right in front of Yeti, and Yeti just DNF because of it.
I think Yeti lost because I think Pop was stuck on the curb. What a strange accident is crash. But anyways, Max and Taylor open even more the gas with Envy, who is now P3.
Indeed. An Aston Martin chasing an Alpine for the lead of the race. This scene looks a little bit familiar, to say the least. For those who remember Hungary 2021 last year, this is pretty much a mirror. Although, we also have another Aston Martin chasing after what could potentially be 3rd place. You can see Envy, like I said, he is struggling a little bit. Pig is doing his best, but the hard tires are going to take a bit to warm up, and he's got Kermit catching up very quickly. Wolfer is also putting in solid pace, but at the moment he is going to be stuck in 6th for a while, I think. Meanwhile, Rogue is chasing after Dodd, taking advantage of these soft tires with Jim right behind, just waiting for an opportunity to strike.
I am trying to figure out the incident happened before. Before. It was very strange. Oh, Kermit spun!
Oh, that's unfortunate for him. He's going to be losing a couple positions for that. And he's going to let by another one. But here he can defend. Oh! What just happened there? And
What?
what was that?
What?
Um, I think Kermit just moved under braking there.
Yeah, I saw he put. I think was Rook. Yeah, was.
Yeah,
I saw Karen put
he moved
Rook
under
on the grass.
braking there, and he just overtook Rogue going into the pits. Oh, that's unfortunate. Jim caught in yet another incident, and he's gonna lose a lot of time for that. Rogue, he's
Ooh,
trying to get really
with a
close
most
there.
crash.
Yeah, I thought he was actually gonna try to ram into the back of him, but I think Rogue thought better of that, thankfully. But
And Endo just passed there.
yeah, needless to say, Rogue and Jim will not be pleased with Kermit after that.
I I saw Kermit spawn. He let the Mercedes pass, and when he joined, he put the Alfa Romeo on the grass, and they lost. Uh, they lost what the name, and he lost the control. And the P1 and P2 is just open more and more the gap for the cars. And Wolfer's already P5.
Meanwhile, Dot is actually getting, and he's in a pretty bad spot because DK is coming up right behind very quickly. At the same time, Taylor Boss, now that he has DRS, is able to close the gap to Max. It might be enough to attempt a move here on the outside. Max defending here. I don't know if taking the inside was a great idea because now Taylor Boss is going to get a run on him. Going now into turn 2. Taylor Boss can slot ahead. Taylor Boss is now leading the race. That was a really good move by Taylor Boss, and I think that was a bit of a mistake for Max to defend on the inside. I think defending on the outside line is really the best way around here, because while you'll lose out a little bit on the entrance of turn 1, you'll get a much better exit most of the time, and that will allow you to stay ahead, especially since you'll have the inside line going to the next turn. Taylor, I think, knew that coming. Oh, and Max struggled a little bit there. He lost a bit of time for that one.
Oh, yellow flags.
That's Sebi going for a spin and losing his front wing in the process.
And
He nearly sent it again, nearly fully destroying his car. He has to get out of the way of the Red Bull of Ando, making his way around. Meanwhile, we have Ghostly right behind Dot. He wants to make a move and get past him, but it's a little bit easier said than done, though. If he wants to, he could maybe attempt a dive here, but if I were him, I wouldn't, and he doesn't. But you can see he has more than enough pace to get past him. He's just getting a little bit held up at the moment. And we have Gio also looking to get around. You can see how he's flying all over the place, just looking for any opening that he possibly can. Ghostly's looking for one right now already, but he can't find a way past. He will now because he's going to have a good run of DRS, but Dot has a lot of straight line speed here, it seems. Ghostly, though, is still going to go for it. He brakes really late there, and that's going to give him an advantage now. On the exit, he's going to have a bit of a better run. It's going to be enough to nearly put himself ahead going to the next turn. They're still side by side, but now Ghostly will be able to beat Dot out and take a hold of 8th place, and now he's free to hunt after DK.
yeah, the DRS helped you a lot because here you just have one zone of the expectation of DRS. It's before it's little in the left corner, and you can activate in the two zones, in the main straight and the turn on one after turn one straight. It's not well a very good straight, but it still helps a lot if you have the DRS. And the Mercedes driver is dropping a lot. Oh, Ghostly already over 1.4 seconds for him.
Meanwhile, up at the front, I think Max is soon going to be able to take a move on Taylor to take back first place. It's going to be close. You can see Taylor Boss leading a little bit there, trying to get a hold of the outside line, but Max pulls the dummy move there. He wants the outside line now. He's going to try and go for it. He pulls a switcheroo, barges into Taylor. Oh, that was a little bit close there, but that's cost Max a lot of time. He's now out of DRS range, and he could very well have front wing damage as well. That could spell disaster for Max. If he does have damage, it's going to slow him down and allow Taylor to take the lead by a good margin. Meanwhile, yellow flag in sector 2, that's Jim, and he went for a spin, and he's got wing damage for sure after that one. You can see the left end plate of his front wing missing.
Max, well, I hope Taylor don't have a fight for damage because was very light, but maybe was enough to have maybe a damage. And the car behind just closed way more the gap for the top two after this battling and this crash.
Indeed.
Zipman is a very comfortable situation in the race. He don't have no one in his front basically, and everyone behind him don't have too much to do. He's like 3 seconds away, and Ghostly is closing the gap for DK lap by lap.
Indeed. Someone who isn't very comfortable though right now is Envy because he's got Pink and Wolfer right behind him, both looking to make a move. Envy is able to keep them behind though, thanks to him being on the medium tires and then on the hards, but it's around these times where the medium tire will start to suffer a little bit while the hards will still be going plenty strong for many more laps to come. Now, the question is, can Pink put himself ahead of Envy? If he can, that's going to allow him to relieve a little bit of the pressure behind because he's got Wolfer stuck in here. Wolfer, I think, wouldn't mind Pink getting past because then he would be out of this little DRS train going on right here. Meanwhile, Max has been putting in a lot of work to try and close that gap back and get back in DRS range. He has succeeded in that regard, but he's going to need to put in a little bit more time if he hopes to retake the lead. He nearly took himself out of the race when he last made an attempt to take the lead, and I think he's going to want to approach the situation a little more carefully. Meanwhile, Wolver's getting really close to Pink, while Pink is losing a bit of touch to Envy here. I think Envy may have a bit of an advantage on the straight line, though I could be wrong.
I think he's pulling the gap in sector 2 and the final part of in the start part of sector 3, but he lost a amount of time because of the DRS and ERS. He go very close. And the P1 and P2 already battling again. Max and Taylor. Max already on the hunt for the P1 again.
Meanwhile, the hunt for that final podium position is keeping very close here. Envy taking a bit of a wide line there. That may have cost him a bit of time, but actually not too much. Wolfer, though, he's keeping in very close touch. He isn't going anywhere, but someone who is getting close is Ghostly to DK. I think Sydney's going to be able to make a move on him and take a hold of 7th place.
And with all this battling, Zipman is getting way closer to the cars in front. Very good because he don't sacrifice much his tires than Wolfer, Pink, Envy, Max, or even Taylor. And I think Max will try to overtake Taylor in this lap.
Indeed, depending on how the remainder of this race plays out in terms of strategy, if Zip nails the strategies right, he could be in for a podium here. But it's going to be close, I think. Competition is looking very close here. And the one team that I think is standing out right now is Aston Martin. One driver fighting for the lead, the other fighting for a podium. Although you can't count McLaren out, I would say. They're both 5th and 7th right now. But I think it's about to be 5th and 8th because Ghostly is coming up very quickly. Though DK seems to have a bit of an advantage, actually, along the straight line. That's not going to be good going into the corners. That is Kermit, who has spun off the track, and oh, he's going to be struggling even more after that. Meanwhile, Ghostly, he got close to DK, but not enough to make a move. I do think DK is better on a straight line, but that means he's going to struggle much more in the corners.
I think Kermit has damage after all. Because it's just dropping left by left. And Jean is already lapped.
Not surprised. Jim does have floor damage. And Kermit, I mean, oh, he hit the wall there. That scrape is probably going to be a bit of damage for him. And he reset the track as well. Yep, that's going to be a 10-second time penalty applied to the end. Just to add insult to injury. Meanwhile, Killer Boss, he's going to be in another dangerous spot because Max is right behind. And he's going to look for another chance to take the lead. Now Max took the outside line. Taylor is looking to defend on the inside line. Max is looking around the outside. Taylor putting the pressure into turn 1. Max going to attempt yet another switcheroo, but Taylor cuts him off. But he spins! And he's out of the race!
He's out! Maybe trigger the safety car.
That is...
Trigger the safety car.
Oh, that is So unfortunate for Taylor. He just completely cracked under the pressure there.
Yeah, it's gonna be very good for Max and Envy. They can bot for hard, and they don't go lost too much time actually.
Indeed, this is actually not a bad time at all. Actually, yesterday, I pit on this exact lap during a virtual safety car, and well, that was enough to get me onto the podium, and I think this will be more than enough to hand Max and Envy a fight for the win.
But yesterday we had 4 safety cars and 2 virtual safety cars.
I don't want to talk about it, man.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. Yeah.
But if we're P2, how do you want us talking about?
I mean, I was happy with that P2. I still despise its track, and that opinion hasn't changed. But, you know, we take those. Anyways, Wolfer is gonna be in a pretty decent spot himself soon enough, but I think he would have hoped for the safety car to occur, let's say, about 5 laps from now, but another one pops up. I doubt he'll be complaining, but I think it's a good choice to stay out. Max and Envy, I mean, they're one of the only ones left on medium tires. It's a perfect opportunity for them both, especially considering how much pace they have. I mean, they are going to be losing a ton of positions either. By the time they come out, they're only going to be losing a position to Gio, I think. And that's only going to... Actually, Max managed to get ahead. That is going to be bad news for Envy, because he's not going to be able to immediately go after Max. But I think Max is a little bit more pace around here in comparison. Max is actually in a really great spot, because he's got his teammate right in front of him. And then the 2 McLarens are right after. And Pink is now in the lead, where his teammate once was until... Well, he unfortunately crashed.
Sorry, mate, but Zipman is making a very interesting strategy now. He puts softs, and he started on the race on hards, and he puts softs now. So I think he went bots with the hard tires, but he's gonna be on soft tires. He have like I think 6 more laps to go. And he wanna bots, put another set of mediums, and he's gonna be flying on the final part of the race.
Indeed, but honestly,
It's not a bad strategy.
I agree, but I would say the strategy is a bit of a gamble. The only thing I think he's gambling on is for another safety car to show up. Now, if that
Yeah,
does,
but he's
then
gonna
this
be
strategy
the
will...
fastest drivers
Yeah.
on the
I mean,
track.
he's gonna have all hard tire runners in front of him, so Zip is gonna have a major advantage over the top 7. That's gonna be great for him. He's gonna be able to make up a lot of ground and give those front runners a very hard time. But again, he's gonna play his cards carefully here. He's gonna have to be measured in his attack, because if he gets a little overzealous, well, we've already seen what has happened to some drivers. So Zip needs to play this hard but fair. And well, really, all racing should be like that, hard but fair. Because, well, we've seen a few instances here and there, even in real life F1, where Lewis decided to go for a bit of a bounce. I mean, if you want to overtake the safety car, be my guest, it's only going to get you disqualified. I mean, oh yeah, Jim is here. If he's allowed to go past the safety car, then he will. But I don't think he is. He's trying
I think
to...
he's trying to glitch. I think he's trying to glitch the safety car and have the...
He's trying to get past the safety car to unlap himself, but it's not going to work. He's only going to get disqualified if he tries it. You can see it's why he's backing off every time. He's trying to, like he said, glitch the safety car, but it's not working. It's absolutely not working.
I think he go. No, he don't go.
Wait.
That's a best bet of the year. See a very safety car.
You know, we do hand out a weekly award for Shameless Driver of the Week. Honestly, I think this might be a contender for it. This is absolutely ridiculous that Jim is trying to pull here. I understand it, because he wants to get himself unlapped, but the safety car is not having it. He's doing everything he can here, but it's just no use.
I think he goes. No.
Well, because if he goes ahead for too long, he's going to get disqualified. He doesn't want that. There's race control. At this point, I think Jim is just
Fifth
gonna
car
pull off a
coming
little
this
bit
lap.
and let by a couple of drivers. Yep, he's gonna let by
Wait, is he
Pink.
gonna? Oh,
Oh,
it's gonna
he's
be between Peak and Wolfer.
wait. What is he doing here? Is he keeping alongside? Is he
What
gonna?
happened?
What is Jim doing here? Pink is gonna be able to pull off into the lead. Is Jim gonna try and hold up Wolfer here? No, wait. Jim's gonna try and overtake Pink into turn 1, even though he's being way blue flags right now. Jim is trying to race here. And he's doing his best to unlap himself. He manages to succeed in that regard, and he's going to do his best to pull away. That's good news for
doing?
Ghostly.
He's like he's giving. Wait, Ghostly got try a movie Wolfer? No, he back up. Well, Gene's giving a little entertainment for the race.
Oh!
Oh
Ghostly! Was that lag? Was that lag? Please tell me you saw that.
I saw that.
That was terrifying. I think
Bro,
I
I think
think
you lagged.
I think the Alpine was trying to like do a mating ritual with McLaren there.
What happened?
I wonder.
Don't have damage.
That's just strange. Meanwhile, we have Envy trying to make a move on the outside of Gio, and it looks like he might very well be able to pull that move off, and he does. And now Zip is going to be looking for a chance around the outside himself. He's got a bit more pace here. Gio is just struggling right now. Zip's going to take advantage, but so is Kermit on the inside. A double overtake here. It might be a triple one on Gio, because here comes Don on the inside going into turn 1. He can't make the move. Wait, he might be able to make 2 here. He's got a bit of an advantage. Kermit's putting on the squeeze. Dot is looking around the outside. This is going to be looking incredibly close. He just might be able to pull it off going into the next corner.
They're gonna make sense. They touch each other. Oh my god, this was a risky one.
Speaking of risky ones, Simon's going to look for a move around turn 4, but he can't. He's going to go wide off the track, and now... What are we witnessing here? 5 cars around turn 5. Now Sebi's looking to make a move on Zip, going into the chicane. This race is absolute insanity. I have never seen so much overtaking and battling in Hungary before. And all this battling is causing all these drivers to form a gap. You can see the entire field has been put into 2 separate grooves. Pink leading one, Dot leading the other. But wait.
No, it's
a collision.
Wait, someone's spun.
Zip has a fully broken front wing. Oh, that soft tire strategy has now been proven pointless. At this point, his only option now is to go in for a set of mediums and end it.
I'm very sorry, but I think it's impressive Gene have floor damage and still able to open the gap for Pink. He was battling against him in the first lap, and now he's pulling the gap. He lapped it.
And honestly, it's impressive that he's managing to pull this off right now. To think that if he didn't have that floor damage and he wasn't laughing, he could probably be fighting for the lead right now. But at the moment, Pink is able to hold on to his lead just fine with Wolfer and Ghostly chasing, as well as DK, Max, and Envy. Honestly, this is going to be looking very good going towards the end. Meanwhile, all that fighting near the...
side by side? No, it's Max goes side by side with DK.
Oh, and Max just barges into DK.
And he crashed. He's out. And just...
And Jim and Ghostly, Ghostly's out. Oh no! Wait, what was that? Did Gio just completely smash through Sebi there? What is happening? Sebi just got murdered.
What has happened in this race?
I don't even know what's going on anymore.
The Mercedes drivers P3 now. Kermit is before and he was the most lappage. Gio.
We're barely halfway through the race and half the field is out already. Oh, this is just, well, okay, almost half the field, but It might as well be. That is just absolutely brutal.
Oh, Seb entry. Seb, don't say nothing, okay? Oh, he left. Okay.
I was worried I was about to hear some very angry words from one of the drivers. I'm glad we didn't. I think Sebi was really considering it there, but thankfully he thought better of it. Thank you, Sebi, for that.
Thanks, Seb.
But oh my gosh! And suddenly, well, um, how many teams actually have two drivers? Only two teams have both drivers on the field right now, and that's Alpha
Alfa
Tauri
Romeo.
and Alfa Romeo. Only the two Alphas are left with their full teams. Meanwhile,
Well, at least did my strategy go work now?
yeah, meanwhile, there's only one team that has both their drivers out right now, and you won't believe which one it is. Ferrari. Oh man, that team can just have no luck.
What happened between? I wanna see what happened between Seb and Gio. I was looking both the cars
Okay.
died.
I was kind of on board with Sebi. From what I could tell, Gio just absolutely smashed into the back of Sebi, and Sebi DNF from it. That's the best I could possibly gather from it.
Jim, calm down, Jim. No bad words. But well. Oh, this is the first strategy. I don't know what to say because it was like we had three crash less than 10 seconds and it was everything chaotic. We're commentators, Jim.
That was just nothing short of crazy.
This is
I
crazy.
can't believe what has been happening. This has been probably the craziest race of the season thus far.
Gee, I just wanna say, you're a legend. G. You make have 4 damage and you open the gap for pink from the old regions.
Yeah, one thing's for sure. There are going to be a lot of penalties handed out after this one.
I, I, I don't have no words. I think safety are gonna be in this lap of the next lap.
Yep, I think you are right on that one. And while we are now on lap 20, honestly, okay, so Pink and Wolfer are actually in a pretty good spot. But I think Max and Envy are going to be the ones fighting for potential victory, though I think Max has enough pace to maintain a good lead here, but he is also going to be leading them off, and that's going to give him a bit of an advantage. But safety car... Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think the safety car could have gone in.
Well, at least for the drivers, it's like 50 seconds behind. Now it's near. And it's something surprise. No one have penalties. They have warning for sure, but penalty no one has.
I'm kind of surprised Kermit and Gio are still going out. I think this would be a great time to just go into the pits unless they're banking on another safety car to happen.
I wanna see the stewards later after this race.
Oh boy, I'm actually
It's gonna be
quite
a very long
grateful that
night.
I am no longer a sewer because I don't want to I don't want to revisit all this later.
This week gonna be a very long week now. A very long nights for the
Yeah,
stewards.
yeah, it's gonna be a long night for them, and needless to say, after recent events involving this race, they are gonna absolutely break down the hammer in terms of penalties.
Just so you know, Gio is an AI. He's disconnect. Oh, Gio disconnect. Let's invite him. Wait a second.
Wait, okay, so you're saying that the AI of Geo just smashed into the back of the hats there? Because if so,
Yes.
if so, then I gotta say, whoever programmed that AI is, they are awful. Like, it looks so bad on the point of view because I'm just on board with Sebi, and I see his car starting to go vertical. It's absolutely insane.
This is chaotic, but safety car coming in this
Well,
lap.
I mean, the AI is chaotic. The AI are evil. Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
race is chaotic too.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a sign of the future. This is why the Terminator movies were made, to show us that this is what they're gonna do. The AI are gonna take over and crash into you during a race. But we're going anyway with the restart. Max is gonna be able to pull away nicely, but Envy not so much. He might even be under a little bit of a threat here going into turn one. Geo certainly will, because Pink is looking on the
Kermit just found the
inside.
Mercedes.
Oh, and Kermit's off the track. That's not good for him. But Pink sneaks through. He's now in fourth, and he's going to be chasing after Kermit. This is going to put him in a
Wolfer
great
make
position.
a double move?
That was a brilliant overtake. Pink and Wolf are just cutting through the field, taking advantage of these fresh mediums, and they're going to continue to push at them. If they can just get past Kermit, they're going to be fighting for a potential win here. You can see Pink looking for a chance to get past Kermit. Kermit went a little bit wide there. Pink, I think, is looking to send it. Kermit going a little bit wide there himself. Yellow flags, like you said, that's the Alfa Romeo. You can see Pink, he's looking to put himself alongside, going into the corner. Kermit goes wide there. Pink cuts through to take a hold of third, and now Kermit's going to be holding up Wolfer here. That's not good for Wolfer. He needs to find a way through as quickly as he can. Kermit, he's on these really old hard tires.
We need to remember.
Wolfer's going to send it here in this corner. Can he complete the move? This is going to be incredibly close going into these next couple of quarters, but Wolfer, taking advantage of these fresh mediums, is going to swing around the outside, have a bit of advantage on the inside. He's going to be able to take a hold of fourth. Meanwhile, Pink is putting in the pace, taking advantage of that gap, and now he's in third. He could very well have a win on his hands here.
Well, I realized both Alpha Towers have the most. They have 17 laps old hard for Kermit at 21 laps on Geo. Basically, Geo is making his whole race of hard. I think the better start for Geo is put another set of mediums on the safe track. And the Mercedes go wide there, and he almost lost the car. And Endo is trying to make a move. He's on P8 right now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Zib. He managed to make the move on Dot there, and Dot has actually lost several positions there, but Zip managed to get ahead, but at the cost of getting a time penalty. That's going to hurt him going into the end. Meanwhile, Gio is doing his best to keep up with Zip. I think he may be able to make a move back perhaps, but right now Kermit is in a really bad spot. I think it was in the two AlphaTauri's best interest to maybe pit during that safety car if they had a spare set of medium tires. If they didn't, well, I understand why they did what they did, but it's going to be rough going to try and finish the race on this set of hards.
I think if he finishes, he's going to be very close to the puncture range. And Pink make the fastest lap, and he's on the hunt for the P2. Pink and Wolfer, they try to have as much as possible advantage for his medium tire before they start to be warm. And Matt is pulling the gas, already 2.3 in 3 laps.
Meanwhile,
3 laps after the safety car.
Meanwhile, Zip manages to make a move on Kermit going into turn 1, manages to pull ahead. Meanwhile, Dot is looking to make a move on the outside of Geo, manages to complete it nicely. Now he's at 7th, chasing after Kermit. The AlphaTauris with their old hard tires are just absolutely falling apart right now. Meanwhile, Envy has lost a lot of time to Max, and that could very well leave him vulnerable to Pink and Wolfer, who are both fast approaching. Actually, at this rate, if DRS is enabled, I think Pink could very well make a move. Going on to the next lap, this is going to be close, but I think Pink definitely has the pace for it. It's just all a matter of how much time he can gain in these latter couple corners. And he's gaining a lot here.
He got to try to make a move offside. Oh, he's the best side by side in set third second. The Mercedes drivers and Kermit.
Dot is nearly going to be able to pull off this move, but Kermit is still keeping alongside going in the next corner.
Oh,
they bang wheels. Dot is still keeping alongside. Kermit barely leaving him enough space. Dot doing his best, but Kermit has a bit more straight line speed. Thanks to the help of DRS, Dot looking around the outside again as he gets double overtake for a moment by both AlphaTauris. Still, Dot is looking to fight here. Kermit's going to have the inside line advantage going to the next turn.
Yellow flags! Oh! Wolfer and Envy crash each other's!
That is really bad for the both of them. And that means that Pink is now free to chase after Max with absolutely no competition. And Max is going to be on the
Back
lead.
again!
What is did he spin again? If you told me that this is how this race would have panned out, I probably would have laughed in your face. Unfortunately, I am no longer laughing. But this race is still really exciting. Dot is looking to make a move here on Kermit. He just might be able to pull it off, too. He's looking for any chance he possibly can here to put himself alongside, but Kermit is defending extremely hard here. Dot just can't put himself alongside. Meanwhile, Ping is closing the gap, actually, to Max, just a little by little.
Kermit defends so much. In less than 5 laps, Max opened the gap, 50-second gap for Kermit. These old tires for Kermit does not pay off too much.
Wow, Dot braked very late there. He's going to look for a switcheroo here, perhaps, on the outside again, but that's going to put him at a disadvantage going to the next corner. Kermit just has more straight line speed here, and that's giving Dot a disadvantage. Meanwhile, Pink has now gained half a second on Max. He's going to be able to catch up very soon and make a move. I think he can actually get a hold of DRS by the end of this lap. As for the others, Wolver and Evie have both gone into the pits for a set of soft tires. I guess to finish this race out, but those softs are going to be struggling going towards the end. Yellow flag in Sector 1. It looks like it involved Rogue, but I have no idea how.
Zipman's a very clean race.
Oh!
Like 7 gap.
Dot just went for a move that... He went for a gap that didn't really exist. And he's lost part of his front wing as a result. Make that his entire front wing. He's going to have to go into the pits and get that replaced. Now, Kermit did kind of squeeze in there, but at the same time, Dot really shouldn't have gone for an overtake there. I don't know why he even attempted that. That wasn't going to work. I think he was really just desperate. Kermit is actually going to make his way in as well while getting ready for a set of soft tires. And that's going to allow Wolfer and Envy to both make up some spots.
Sorry for the sound.
Meanwhile, Pig is chasing after Max, and he's now within DRS range.
Yep, Pink is taking too much advantage for his medium, for his medium tires. But he needs save if he wants to try to make a move and keep the car in front, because mediums can drag it more faster than Heinz. But he tried to make a bar advantage for this. Everyone's spotting yellow flags. Envy spawn again. Envy spawned the pitch entry.
And that's not good because he's got the two leaders coming up fast. Pink is going to get close enough to get a hold of DRS, and he's going to get even closer to Max. Will this be the lap where he can make the move for the lead? I think it just might. He's going to get a hold of DRS here. He won in Australia, and he's going to go for yet another overtake here.
Post-migration.
Yep, Ghostly has left the session just disappointed with how things panned out. Considering how it did, I can't say I blame him. It's unfortunate for him how it went. But Pink, he's getting close here. I think he's going to look for another win.
Crash.
That might be another full safety car. If so, that's going to prompt everyone to go out on softs. No, yeah, you're right. I'm kind of surprised that isn't even a VSC, considering that he crashed almost on the racing line, but I guess they're going to go regardless. And honestly, that's better news for Pink, because he could take advantage of that situation because they're both on softs, and suddenly this fight would be much more even. Wolfer's going to take fastest lap of the race as he overtakes Dot going into turn 1.
I want to see if Gio can make this hard to the end, because he's dropping a lot. Endo is closing his gap way faster.
Yeah, he's going to be losing a whole lot of time, and it's going to hurt him going into the end, and I think he may be a little bit close to puncture territory.
If I was you, I'm gonna stop now, because vehicle have socks and they don't have any problems with puncture.
Pink is braking really late here. He's looking for any chance possible to gain time on Max and potentially make a move. He's getting a lot with DRS, but still not close enough. If he can maintain this gap going to the next lap, it will be enough for him to make a move. But it's proving to be a bit of a struggle. Maybe not so much anymore, though. Pig is putting in a lot of good time and is closing in on Max more and more throughout. All he needs to do is stay within under half a second, and that will be enough to make that move. Meanwhile, like you said, Ando is starting to close that gap. Gio, who is most certainly struggling, Wolver puts in yet another fastest lap, trying to close the gap to the cars in front, but with time remaining, that's going to be near impossible. But he's certainly putting in a good effort, gaining multiple tenths a second.
I don't think if Matt could receive a penalty because he touching DK and both spun and DK spun and go to the wall
That's
on
true.
the
That
battle
that could very
before.
well give him a penalty and give Pink the win by default, but still, Pink is going to go for it
Because
nonetheless, just in case that isn't the case. But yeah, he's gaining here, but Max has plenty of straight line speed. You can see Pink is
and,
doing his best to close
and
the
Pink,
gap, but it's kind of the same old story. The medium tires are also starting to wear down here, and so now this fight is a little bit more even. Pink is going to have to try and make this move soon, otherwise, I don't think he's going to be able to make it at all.
and Pink is breaking way late than Matt, especially in turn one. He break way more inside there, so you see he can try to push as much as possible
It's
in his previous tires.
it's very true. Now, if he manages to break that late when they're trying to battle, that may be enough to give him an advantage. Pink, though, he needs to keep within under half a second if he wants to make a move on the LP, but he's losing a little bit of time, particularly, I think, through this set of turns. And yeah, you can see it through that turn, he loses a bit of time, but now he's making it back. He's closer than he has been before in this latter section. He needs to do his best to keep it that way, and this might be his best opportunity.
Another thing I'm referring in this battle, Pink have more storyline speed than Matt, but because of his low ERS, oh wait a minute, I think Pink will try to make a move. No, he's not.
No, he's
Because of DRS, he have DRS and he have I think aim is fun. He have DRS and slipstream, so that make more. But because of the I think Mats have more ERS, and that can make a little more difference for the speed line because ERS low than 50%, 15%
that's
is low a lot the kind of straights.
that's
So
true.
so that make a lot of difference, and maybe the reason why Pink can overtake Mats, but Pink needs to push much as possible for the overtake Mats. Yellow flags in sector 3, the Mercedes driver spun.
You know, actually, with everything, Zip is going to be able to finish on the podium. I just realized that. As long as he just keeps up this pace and maintains this gap, even with the time penalty, Zip is going to be able to walk away with the podium, which will bring him home plenty of points. Meanwhile, Pink, I mean, it's pretty much the same
Yellow
old
flag,
story here at this point. I
so
mean,
I think it was
I think at this point, Max is going to do enough to get the win here, but, like you said, if he does get penalized for that incident, then Pink will get the win by default. But they're both actually gaining here on a lap car, and he's going to let them both by. No interference there, thankfully. And this battle will go on uninterrupted. Meanwhile, Wolfer is gaining seconds on those cars in front, but still not enough to get past anyone. And at this point, we're on lap 32 with so few laps left to go. No safety car or VSC will continue. We aren't going to see any more for the remainder of this race because, well, simply there's no point with so little time left. And also, I doubt we're going to see any incidents because, well, only two cars are within a tenth to each other, and Pink just simply can't put in the pace to get past. It would take a pretty big mistake from Max for Pink to get past, I think.
Here was bots in. Oh, I think he don't have front swing. True. I'm kind of surprised Envy was battling. Oh, Envy's fun again. Commented the cursed. I was talking about Envy was battling with Wolfer and now he's left by Wolfer. Everyone's changing their things very quickly.
You know, at the front, it's pretty much the same story. Again, we're seeing kind of the battle that we saw last year with Alcon and Vettel, with just Vettel unable to overtake Alcon, and here Pink can't overtake Max.
Oh, Mats have a little oversteer. It's true, it's kind of a con battle.
Yeah, now we just need the other Alpine battling the Mercedes. Unfortunately, Ghostly's out of the race, taking out in a strange incident that I don't really know, because so much happened in that mere moment that I wasn't
Yeah,
even able to
like
catch
GT
it.
spawn, G spawn, Ghost crash, and GOI murdered Seth.
Yeah, and yeah, again, so many things happened at once. It was honestly kind of crazy. Meanwhile, Dot actually overtook Rogue, and he's going to have a hold of 7th place.
This is chaotic. Rug have front wing? No, Rug don't have front. No, he have front wing. Never mind. He let Philip pass. But 2 laps remaining after Max crossing. This lap and one more. Max, I think Max go win, but he needs a little more lucky for the stewards.
Yeah, because again, with what happened, I think he could very well get penalized. And
It's
honestly,
because was sector 2 was started by side. Maybe it was not intentional, but maybe be a penalty. Everyone's so far each other, and Ender can get Gio. Gio go make the whole race in one set of hearts, basically.
pretty much kind of pulling in Albon and I almost said Austria, Australia.
Australia. I'll see ya.
Yeah. Actually, this track, it's short, really only 2 DRS zones, pretty hard to overtake. Speaking of a short track with 2 DRS zones with hard overtaking, we're heading to Zandvoort. More accurately, F1 is heading to Zandvoort this weekend. I gotta say, I'm quite looking forward to that. I think it's gonna be good. Although,
Then last year was kind of boring.
yep, we're going to be going into the final lap, but at this point, I think the race is pretty much decided. Although, yeah, I think that's pretty much it, really.
Hey. Well, just if this trip, the P1 and P2 make some mistake and make the race more interesting, you know. But I think it's gonna be like this. This show is don't make too much mistakes in the whole season. Pink have a little luck on the start of the season, but now he's very fine. He's now trying to better. He's close way more gap for the P1 on the driving standing. So, yep.
Yeah, but at this point it's decided, so over here, might as well, let you guys know a little bit of real F1 news. Here's apparently how silly season might pan out with all the driver transfers. Gasly to Alpine, Herta to AlphaTauri, Mick to Williams,
And
Latifi
respawn again.
out. Oh, it's unfortunate for Envy. But at the very least,
I
he's going
think
to
he'll
walk
be
home.
lapped by 2 laps.
He's going to get home with points, though, so that's good for him. Latifi, I think, is actually going to be out of a drive next year. And for some reason, Antonio Giovinazzi will be returning for Haas. I actually think that's going to be happening at this point, and kind of infuriated by it. Ricardo, I think, is going to take a gap here. Piastri to McLaren and Zhou remaining at Sauber. And, well, they are going to be called Sauber
And
next year
Max
because Alfa Romeo is gone.
crossed the
Meanwhile,
line.
yep, Max crosses the line to take the race win. Pink, very nice second place, though I think he would prefer the top 7 of the podium. It's
And
just
Pink
within
9.
reach, but honestly, like you said with the stewards thing, he may well still get it. It all depends on how the stewards judge the incident. Zip, though, will take a very comfortable 3rd place, taking that final step at the podium. Gio running around will take 4th, Ando 5th, Wolfer 6th, Dot 7th, Rogue 8th.
It's your crash.
We're just waiting on Wolfer to cross the line, and that's going to be the end of the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Make a 316.
Wolfer having a bit of fun as he crosses the line. And Zip actually gets a Driver of the Day award. And honestly, I would say that's pretty well earned. He pretty much stayed out of trouble for the most part and just kind of cruised his way onto the podium. I'd say it's a well-earned one. Max will be taking victory unless the stewards will have something to say about it later. Pink, second. Although thankfully, Pink doesn't have to worry about fuel problems, so he's not going to get disqualified from the race.
Very good. And now we have a good ending. No, we have the basic. It's just swap Zipman for some Mercedes driver. We had a 21 podium here. But it was very good driving for, especially for Max and Pink. They pushed each other to the limits. It was a very great battling on the gap, and it was very clean.
That was an interesting race. I'm just gonna say interesting. That's all you're gonna get from me. But that certainly did happen. MX certainly did win, unless the stewards have something to say about it. But that's gonna be the end of the Hungarian Grand Prix. We are now at the halfway point of the season. We'll be seeing you all next week for the second half, starting at the streets of Baku for a sprint race. So, well, you know how that is going to turn out. We'll be seeing you all then. I've been Mach Mage, and I'll be seeing you all next time.